After 1 month on Zepbound, I'm down 14.8 pounds, but that's not the full story. It's check-in time. Hey guys, it's Tamika, and I'm sharing my Zepbound journey with you week to week. No hype, no fluff, just real deal. Now today's video is going to be a little bit different because I'm going to be talking about my first month on Zepbound, the updates on how everything went for the entire month. Okay, so before I started the medication, I did like months and months and months of research. I watched videos, I listened to books, I read blogs. I just did, every ounce of research that could be done because I was seriously on the fence about taking the medication because I had heard about all the negative stuff, but then I started digging deeper and started finding out about the positive things that people were talking about while they're on the medication. And so that kind of made me think about things a little bit differently. And then when my sister told me that she had been on Ozempic and she was losing weight and she didn't really have any side effects, that kind of went ding, ding, ding in my head. I was like, well, maybe this could be something I could do. We have the same genetics and all. Maybe this will work for me. So that kind of gave me a little spark of, I would say, hope in a sense. Yeah. And so, yeah. So my mindset going into taking Zepbound was, this is going to be something that's going to have to include a lifestyle change and exercise. I did not go into it thinking that if I take the shots that the medication is going to do all the work. No. I went into it knowing that I would have to change my eating habits. I went into it knowing that I would have to start working out and just doing healthier things for myself and for my body. And that's what I've been doing so far. And there's a lot of things that surprised me that I'm going to talk about. And I'm also going to talk about my total weight loss because I know that's very important in these updates. So here we go. So my starting weight at the beginning of my Zepbound journey was 223 pounds. I have lost almost 15 pounds, 14.8 pounds. And so I think that's crazy to lose that amount of weight in a month, but it just is what it is. And I realized that in the beginning, the first 8 pounds or so was water weight, because that's always what happens with me whenever I do any type of change in my eating habits or dieting or anything like this. But this is not diet though. Water weight definitely comes off first, but then it started tapering off to, 3 pounds, 2 pounds, stuff like that. But I'm cool with that just as long as the scale is continually to go downward. I'm really good with the weight loss slowing down. Even if it slow down to 1 pound a week, any amount of progress is progress that I'm willing to accept. So I want to show you guys my scale readings, and then I also want to show you guys a before and after picture I took of me right before I started taking Zepbound and then a month later. So let's get into that. Okay, so I want to talk about my appetite changes when I started the Zepbound. Immediately within the first 3 or 4 hours, my appetite went all the way down. And also the food noise went away. Interesting. So it was easier for me to get full. So instead of me eating 3 eggs, I could only eat 1, that type of deal. And my appetite just completely decreased down to hardly anything. Very interesting. And I definitely have been making sure to focus on protein. So if I feel myself starting to get full, I make sure that I finish whatever protein's on my plate. That way I can at least get that in because I've been trying to at least get 80 to 100 grams of protein per day, so I can make sure that I have enough protein to help build muscles and actually keep the hair on my head because that is a thing. Yeah. The side effects, ooh, child. I think I've had pretty much all of them. Nausea, constipation, sleep issues. But it was different, week to week. The first couple of weeks, on Zepbound, my sleep was kind of wonky, but I realized it wasn't because of me per se. It was because I was not practicing really good sleep habits. So I turned it around and I started, turning the television off, before bedtime, not working up until bedtime, stuff like that, and started like cutting out the noise and just going to sleep instead of me going to sleep with the television on. Or if I did go to sleep with the television on, it was with, some rain sounds or something like that, and the screen would go black. And that helped out a lot. And also having a fan on helped a lot. And so within about the third week, I started sleeping a lot better. I started getting like 7 to 8 hours of solid sleep, which is something that I've never done in my life. And I did kind of blame it on the medication a little bit, but it wasn't the medication. It was me, because I didn't really sleep well before I started medication. But one thing I can say is that my dreams have been a little bit more vivid in the beginning. That kind of tapered off some, but I did notice that, having some really like dreams. Now, I did suffer with a little bit of constipation, but I noticed that my fiber was low. I was only getting like 5 to 6 grams of fiber as compared to 20 to 25 grams of fiber a day. And I'm still not up that high yet. I'm kind of gradually decreasing it. But I did add fiber supplements to my regimen, to kind of help with that. And plus, I definitely have upped my water intake, vegetables, all that type of stuff. So the constipation is not that bad, but I did experience that, a little bit. And as far as the nausea is concerned, like for the first, I would say, couple of weeks, I had this low-lying like nausea on a scale from 1 to 10, like 1 to 2 nausea, low-lying, that happened within the first couple of weeks. And then it kind of subsided, and yeah, it kind of subsided. So the nausea did go away, and I was able to figure out how to keep myself from getting nauseated, because one thing I noticed is that the reason why I was getting nauseated was twofold. It was because I wasn't eating food, or either I was eating too much food. So whenever my mind would say, hey, Tamika, you're 75% full. Well, not specifically say that, but whenever I would get that satiation cue, I would stop eating. I wouldn't take another bite. And so by me doing that, it helped combat the nausea. Okay, so another thing, I had to make sure I ate regularly, because if I would skip and try to, if I would not eat and try to skip to the next meal, then I would get nauseated. So I decided that I wanted to, pretty much try to eat on a schedule, breakfast, lunch, dinner, and then I could have like another snack in between, or 2 if I needed to. But I really snacked more so because I was trying to get my protein up than anything, not because I was actually hungry. So it would kind of be like a little, snack with like 5 to 8 grams of protein that would kind of boost up my protein for the day. Yeah, so the side effects aren't enough to stop me from taking the Zepbound, but I will say that they definitely, have to be dealt with, and there's ways to do it, but you have to like listen to what your body is saying to you. You have to listen to cues, and do what your body tells you to do. My body said, hey, Tamika, I want more protein and less carbs, and that's what's happening with me. So that's the route that I'm going on my journey. Okay, so I did notice, like within the first week or so, that my inflammation decreased like tremendously, because I was having like a lot of joint pain, especially in my knees. And when I would walk down the steps or walk up the steps or just use my knees for anything, I could feel like pain there. But ever since I started taking the medication, that's been like, I haven't had any of that knee pain. So I suspect that my inflammation has probably decreased dramatically and will further decrease the longer I stay on the medication. Another thing, my focus. I have been able to focus so much better while on the medication. I've had mental clarity. I haven't had brain fog. I'm 52, so brain fog was a thing for me because I'm actually postmenopausal, and it was everything for me. I couldn't even really remember what I had for breakfast in the morning, but now I can remember what I had for breakfast yesterday, the day before yesterday, and sometimes I can remember stuff way back from, things I wasn't able to remember are coming back to me from years ago. So it's very interesting how my mental clarity has like changed like tremendously, and I'm really excited about that because it helps me be able to retain more and learn more and actually have it stick in my head instead of me being like, I got to write notes for everything. So I like that a lot. And I have just been very calm, like extremely calm. I haven't been stressed. I've been able to just work on activities, in a calm manner. It's like this overall sense of calm that I've been having. And, I love that because if I'm not stressed out, then I can do other things. Like that mental space that the stress was taking up, I can use that to do other things, work on other projects, do things that I wasn't doing before. So I really enjoy like that part of it. And my energy levels definitely have been on the up and up, because I remember like the second week my energy started going whoop, and I was like, hey, I'm eating less food, but I'm eating better, but my energy's going up. So that was really, 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 really good. I really enjoyed that part of it, because your girl's memory or clarity, it wasn't there. But now it is. I'm excited. So many good things about being on the medication. Yeah, it's life-changing. It really is. Okay. So things that I have changed since I started the medication. Okay. I'm being extremely mindful of what I eat. I'm not eating a lot of fast, fatty, greasy, heavy foods, because my stomach can't tolerate it. And my mind, because my stomach can't tolerate it, my mind is telling me like, you don't want that. And so I literally have not been eating any of the stuff that I was eating previously. It actually repulses me to think about eating it. So I just don't eat it. You know, I used to eat out 2, 3, 4, 6, 7 times a week, not breakfast, but lunch and dinner. And I don't eat out anymore. You know, what's the use? Yeah, and plus at home, I know what I'm putting in my food. You know what I'm saying? And I also like to, you know, track my food. That way I can keep up with my macros. You know, because even though I'm not low carb, I still like to keep my carbs lower, because I feel like I do better with weight loss when my carbs are, you know, under a certain amount. But I'm not low carb. You know, I'll do anywhere between, I would say 80 to 100 carbs a day. And also I try to do at least 100 grams of protein if I can a day. And then I try to keep my fat around 60 to 70 grams a day. So those are my macros. I started a workout routine. I had to find something that really worked for me that I like, because I don't like to work out. So I started rebounding. So I bought a small trampoline, and I've been rebounding, which has been really, really fun. Even though I'm still, at this point in time, a little bit out of shape, I know that over time, if I continue working out regularly, that I will get back in shape. Yes. Hydration. The only thing that I have that's non-water is coffee in the morning time. And it's usually about 3 ounces of coffee mixed in with a little milk and a teeny bit of syrup. And I've been doing that. But I try to get at least 80 ounces of water a day. But sometimes that can be hard because my appetite is so low. So here I am trying to eat all my macros and drink all the water, and it can be like really, really like, ugh. But one thing I did notice is that when I try to chug water like I used to before I started Zepbound, that when I chug, I literally will get nauseated. So I have to, you know, sip water. I take 3, 4, 5 ounces at a time, put it down, wait, and then take some more instead of me trying to chug 20, 30 ounces at a time. That's what I used to do. Can't do that anymore, because if I do that, then it makes me nauseated. So I'd steer clear of that by any means necessary. And one thing too that has changed is I definitely have started listening to my body cues, what my body wants, what my body doesn't want, instead of me trying to force feed my body, you know, things that it doesn't want. And since I've been doing that, you know, we've been getting along real well. You know, I love that part. I would say the 2 hardest things I've had to deal with, you know, in the first month of being on Zepbound is, I would say adjusting to the side effects and the sleep changes. First of all, during the month, I got extremely sick because I deal with motion sickness anyway. And then one of the side effects of being on Zepbound is nausea. And I was working out and I forgot to put on my motion sickness glasses and I got sick. And I had to deal with that for 2 days. I literally was like bedridden for 2 days from being sick. Not from the medication, but from motion sickness. Normally with motion sickness, I can recover after, you know, a couple of hours, but it took me 2 days to recover. And I suspect it's because, you know, me being on Zepbound, slower stomach emptying and all that type of stuff, it just caused me to have to deal with it a little bit longer. But that's a long time to have to deal with motion sickness. That was not cool. But that made it really, really hard, because every time I have to like deal with something that puts me down for a couple of days, that puts me down on other things I want to do. That was really hard. But I adjusted. And I'm still adjusting to the side effects. You know, I still have to, you know, listen to my body and make sure there's certain things I do and don't do as far as, but it's not enough to make me want to stop. Yeah. So, that was one of the biggest things. And the sleep changes, of course. You know, at first I was sleeping terribly, but then I gave myself a bedtime, turned off the TV, and all the things I had to do. And now I'm sleeping a lot better. Thank God. I think a couple of things that surprised me the most about being on Zepbound is how quickly the medication started working. How quickly my food noise went away. Oh gosh, food noise. Y'all know about food noise. If you're watching this and you're on the medication, you know about food noise. Food noise runs your life. It just runs your life. You're always thinking about food all the time. What you're going to eat, what you're not going to eat, why'd you eat that? Yeah, but that went away almost immediately. And that really surprised me because I thought that it was going to take a week or two for things to start kicking in. I thought it was going to take a week or two for the appetite suppression to start kicking in. But with me, it was immediately. Yeah, it was crazy. Yeah. And also, the first time I realized, it surprised me the first time I realized that I had mental clarity was crazy because I had remembered something that happened maybe about 10 years ago. And I was like, hold up a second. I remembered that? I can remember that. But that was really super cool. And plus I had evidence to back it up. Like I remembered it and then I went back because it was on a recording. And I was like, whoa. Yeah. So that was pretty cool. Knowing you remembered something and it was actually a true memory, because sometimes we remember things that's not necessarily true. But I remembered this and I went back and found the evidence of it and I was like, oh gosh, my mental clarity is popping. It is so amazing being able to remember things that you previously forgot, because before I couldn't even remember where I put my car keys, so now it's just kind of like, I remember so many things. And that's one of the things that surprised me most because I didn't think that it would be that helpful, that helpful. It's just so amazing because this medication, I know there's a lot of people, who are like, oh, you shouldn't take it. It was the easy way out. Oh, all you need to do is put down a fork, But if you're here watching this video, you know that is not the case. It is not that easy because if it was, then we wouldn't have fat people. We wouldn't have people who were suffering with obesity. We wouldn't. I wouldn't be in this predicament. So I just, there's so many naysayers. There's so many people who are like, oh, this medication is bad. But I'm going to tell you something. I don't eat as much. I'm pretty sure that when I go to the doctor to get my blood work done again, my numbers are going to be lower because I was pre-diabetic. I had high cholesterol. I know my numbers are going to be lower. Inflammation is gone. Better energy. Better mental clarity. Come on, y'all. Who doesn't want that? Who doesn't want that? My life has completely changed since starting medication. So I'm going to keep taking it. Yeah. Whew. So I know that this medication is not a quick fix. I know this medication is a tool to help me, to aid me in my healthy body journey. So that's how I'm looking at it. I'm not looking at taking the medication, just sitting around eating, French fries and hamburgers all day. That's not me. That's not how I roll. I like the fact that I feel better. I like the fact that I'm more energetic. I like the fact that I'm not eating as much. I like the fact that I'm not stressed out all the time. So I'm really super excited about that. So for somebody who's on the fence about whether or not they want to take a medication like I was, I want to say, do your research. Do your research and, don't necessarily listen to all the negative stuff because a lot of the negative stuff comes from people abusing the medication, or people who had underlying conditions and stuff like that. There's so many more people out there who have been using medication, for years and they have had positive results. So do your research and don't let the fear mongering, get the best of you. Don't let it scare you into, making that change, making that move into a healthier lifestyle. I tell you, talk to your doctor, and just look at other people's journeys and see their success stories. You can look at my journey here. I've been documenting week to week. I'm going to keep documenting. I've had success. I've lost almost 15 pounds, 14.8 pounds, the first month. And I'm really excited about that. So if you're on the fence, just do your due diligence and figure out if it's something that could be right for you. Have that talk with your doctor and see if it's something that could be right for you. Because all in all, I believe that the pros outweigh the cons. So looking forward to month 2. I'm just going to continue on with what I've been doing in month 1. I'm going to, continue listening to my body, continue to do my weekly check-ins, stay consistent to my workouts, and just do me and just enjoy. And if something arises, I can talk to my doctor, or I can figure out exactly how I need to navigate whatever it is that I'm dealing with. Yeah. All right. So I am so glad that you're here, and I'm so glad that you have decided to come on this journey with me. And one thing I want to say to you is this: if this video has helped you in any way, take the nuggets and leave the rest. So very important. God bless you all. I love you guys so much. I'll see you in the next check-in video. Talk to you later. Bye.